I'm not going to discuss a certain character during this review because we don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no. I'm not sorry. But yes, I'm going to talk about Encanto. This was directed by Jared Bush, Byron Howard, and Charlize Castro-Smith, who shared writing credits alongside Nancy Cruz, Jason Hand, and of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda. It stars Stephanie Beatriz. I'm going to pronounce all these terribly, I know. Maria Cecilia Botero, John Leguizamo, I know him, Mara Castillo, and Jessica Darrow. So about 2 of those names were fine. I do apologise to anyone with the appropriate heritage. I do my best. At least I try. Some people just don't. But apparently this is one of Disney's biggest things since Frozen, and I can understand it, but I'm also surprised by it. Everyone I know who's seen it, myself included, has kind of said, yeah, it's okay, I guess. But Frozen was such a breakout hit because it flipped the script. There wasn't the Prince Charming idea, and the idea was love of the family and things like that, and this is more of the same. There isn't a romantic interest that saves the day. It's entirely Mirabelle herself. So I'm not sure if it's just people are still choosing to watch stuff at home a lot and it's just a nice family film. Maybe that's why it's so popular, but I don't know. I don't know why apparently it's one of the biggest successes since Frozen. I can't see it. Whilst I enjoyed it, I wouldn't have done this video saying that I liked it. Otherwise, I would have told you outright I didn't like it at all. It wasn't amazing. It's a very simple story. It sounded a lot more interesting when I was looking at trailers and things like that. I thought that the whole town had powers. I thought this was a bigger scale, but it's fairly straightforward. Family has powers gifted to them, and one of them doesn't get them one year. And that starts to signal the potential beginning of the end. The house itself is kind of sentient and starts falling apart. And people's powers go on the fritz. We have people who can have super hearing. We have people who can talk to animals. Well, that's the most recent person who got their powers after Mirabelle. We have people who can cause the weather. We have people who can predict the future, which is Bruno. Even though I said I wasn't going to talk about him. We have all these people and their powers start to wane, but also Bruno disappeared because people blamed the situations upon him, not realising that he was just saying what was going to happen. And in fact, in some cases, like with anything, if you've ever had a prediction given to you about something that's going to happen, and like we see in The Matrix, you cause it to happen because you're thinking about it. Or like I say, it's just something that was going to happen. You can't blame the person who gave you that. You don't shoot the oracle, I guess, instead of the messenger here. But you have all these characters, like I say, their powers are going on the fritz. And she goes on a quest to find out what's going on, and part of what made Bruno disappear was he saw that she would be instrumental in either destroying or restoring the house, the Encanto. So, yeah, it's just literally the same kind of thing we've seen a lot. Person goes on quest and bonds with whoever has to be bonded with for the story to be nice and saccharine and sweet. With Disney films, more Pixar, but with Disney films, there are moments that, I shed a tear. I am human. And I only had one with this. And to me, that's not a damning indictment, but it doesn't mean that it's got a massive emotional heart that all the way along I feel a well of emotions throughout. This was fine. It was serviceable. It was a sweet ending. And, it proves that she was, in fact, kind of the architect of its destruction, but then its recreation. And so technically Bruno was right on both fronts. But she brings the family together and makes them realise that it's not the powers. And this is the bit that, got me, because I love this idea. It's not about what makes you special. And I did have a comment when I was watching it about this feels very much like the Incredibles idea. If everyone's special, no one's special. It's the flip of Buddy in a way. If everyone's normal, then no one's special. But the idea that, you should appreciate your family for who they are, what they do, as just a normal human being, not the fact that they can lift a whole house or can control the weather or whatever it may be. It should be, these people love me and care for me just because I'm me, and that's fine. Now, I can't talk about this without talking about the music, and of course I referenced one of the big breakout hits. I actually heard it on the radio the other day. I don't listen to it, but I was visiting my partner's side of the family, and yeah, I was like, "Is this?" And she was like, it is. And fortunately, the radio was turned up, and we were like, "Yeah, it is." Surface pressure, which I keep wanting to call no pressure and under pressure. And I'm not the only one. When I was looking for it, I saw all various versions people had posted it under, let alone tried to search for it. Was fun. I enjoyed, like, the rhythm of it is still in my head, the basic hook and everything like that I love. But there was something about it, and this isn't anything against either Ms. Darrow herself or anyone of the music team. I know it's something that has to happen to make sure you can get stuff out on time. Overusing it is wrong, but I did detect a sort of artifacting, as I kind of think of it. I don't know what other people might call it. But in some of the lower notes of that song, at first I thought if they pitched it down, can Jessica Darrow not hit those lower notes? But I listened to it through good headphones, and I was like, no, it's artifacting of they've had to correct the notes a little. So that was bugging me, but that's like a producer's ear thing. I work with stuff like that constantly. I've been in the field for years, before even doing that myself as well, and you do develop an ear for these things. So that was my one gripe, but the music was great all throughout. It was a rare occurrence. I think it's only about 2 or 3 times it's happened, where Lin-Manuel Miranda creates some music that he doesn't actively participate in. You know, there's no songs that he's singing. But the whole package, I appreciate in the fact that it shone a bit of a light to Colombian culture this time. It feels like Disney are trying to do a world tour over many decades of catching various cultures. Some of them have been kind of ropey, and some of them have treated the actual peoples not too great. But I think this one, from what I'm seeing and what I understand, obviously, like I said with Kim's Convenience, this isn't an area of experience in, but I'm just basing it on what I can see. It seems that people feel it's respectful, and at the end of the day, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think, would call that out as well as any of the other... I'm not sure what the correct term is, because people, I think, don't like Hispanics, but Caucasians saying Latinx is wrong. So is it South American? I don't know. Please gently correct me below. I'm trying to learn. But the people with the correct heritage, whatever the term may be, don't seem to have an issue with it. And like I said, the people on the staff, you know, and the cast and things like that obviously signed on to this and thought that it was fine. People can say, yeah, but it's a paycheck for a lot of people, but your personal politics will come in. If you think something's extremely disrespectful to your culture, it's not unheard of for you to decline a project. So I take that as a good thing. But like I say, I'm not qualified to comment. It's just what I'm seeing online. But yeah, it's Disney. You know, they own everything these days, so stuff's generally going to be good. And I thought this was. So watch it if you haven't, although I don't know why you've watched a video where I've just spoiled the entire plot. That's on you. But give it a watch, and yeah, listen out for the songs on the radio. That's weird. But that's all I'm going to say about Encanto. So until next time, as always, thank you for watching, take care, and don't talk about Bruno.